You know, when you think about the Christmas story, Joseph kind of fades into the background, right? But have you ever wondered who this guy was before all that? Before the angel, before Mary, before Jesus? He's this silent hero, but believe me, his life was anything but quiet. So let's dig in and uncover the story of this man of, well, steal and
Okay, so to really get who Joseph was, we've got to start with one just mind-blowing fact. It all comes down to this one question. In the entire Bible, with everything he went through, how many words did he actually say?
Zero. Zilch. Nada. Not a single recorded word. But hey, don't for a second think that his silence meant he was weak or some kind of pushover. No way. Joseph's story is maybe the ultimate proof that your actions, your integrity, your character, that stuff speaks way louder than words. His whole life was about what he did.
So what did he do? Well, most of us have the same picture in our heads, right? He was a carpenter. But that one little word, it really doesn't do him justice. Not even close. See, the original Greek word they used for him was tekton, and tekton meant something a whole lot tougher. I mean, just look at this contrast. On one side, you've got our idea of a carpenter, you know? Making a nice chair, doing some detailed woodworking. But on the other side, that's the reality of a tekton. This wasn't some delicate, crafty job. Think about it. This was about wrestling massive stones out of a quarry and shaping them for a building's foundation, all in the rugged hills of Galilee. Totally different ballgame. So here's the bottom line. Joseph was strong, like really strong, and super skilled. He wasn't just the guy who worked with wood. He was a master builder, a full-on construction professional. In fact, it's pretty likely he was working on huge construction projects, maybe in the city of Sepphoris, which was being rebuilt right around that time. We're talking about a man with serious grit. Okay, so we know he was a tough, skilled builder, but that's just his job, right? What really defined Joseph was something even more solid than the stones he worked with. It was his character. The Bible calls him a just man, and that simple phrase, it meant so much. You have to picture Nazareth. This was a tiny village. We're talking a couple hundred people, tops. In a town that small, everybody knows everybody. And your reputation, it's everything. And Joseph's was flawless. So, what did it actually mean to be a just man back then? Well, in that culture, they had a word for it. Tzaddik. And this wasn't like saying, oh, he's a nice guy. No, this was a huge deal. A tzaddik was a pillar of the community. He was the guy you went to if you needed a fair deal. The guy who lived with total integrity. The one who followed the law, yeah, but with a heart full of mercy. But simply, he was the person the entire town trusted, without question. So let's put it all together. You've got this highly skilled master builder, and he has a rock-solid reputation. And just like any guy with his head on straight, he was building a life. He had a plan. He knew exactly what he wanted, a quiet, respectable future.
And you can see how methodical he was. Step 1, establish the business. Check. Step 2, build that solid name for himself in town. Check. And he was probably building his own house, literally with his own 2 hands, laying every stone, placing every beam. He was getting everything ready for a good, quiet life with his fiancée, Mary. Everything was mapped out, you know? This was a man of structure, of purpose. He had a plan, and he had absolutely no clue that the quiet, simple life he was building so carefully was about to get blown up by, well, a divine scandal that would literally change the world forever.
And really, this is the whole point of his story, isn't it? When God needed someone for the most important job in history, to protect and raise his own son, who did he pick? Not some famous speaker or a big-shot leader. He picked a builder. He chose a man with calluses on his hands, a character as solid as a foundation and integrity you couldn't shake. It just goes to show you, God doesn't need your words. He needs your character.
So Joseph was the silent builder. He was chosen for his strength, his integrity, to be the guardian of the Messiah, and it kind of makes you stop and think, doesn't it? What are the quiet things we're building in our own lives when no one's watching? What is your character building today?